Hey everyone, it's Types, and World of Pokemon TCG has a lot of cards, and when I say a lot of cards, I mean, truly quite a lot of cards, right? This is literally just one set. This is a special set, but this is technically one set here. But there are a lot of different ideas explored. However, there are a lot of ideas that are also left unexplored. And today we're taking a look at 5 custom cards made by you, the community, that are really interesting in my opinion. These were submitted on Discord. Wait, there might actually, I think there's 6 cards. I can't count, but yeah, they are submitted in Discord. So if you want to submit your own cards, do that within my Discord server, which is linked on my channel's page. Additionally, also, you can look at other people's cards. There's a ton of them there. It's really interesting. And yeah, it's really fun. I like to look at them. I think lots of people do. But anyways, let's just hop right in here. And the first card we're going to take a look at here is submitted by Flint here. This is Mega Meowstic EX, and I will say in terms of balancing of cards, this isn't related to this card in particular, but I think a lot of people kind of struggle with I was gonna say balancing specifically. Some people like kind of fail to realize like being a 3-pricer is bad. Like I don't know, I feel like that's like obvious, and like being an evolution is bad, but like even in actual cards that are where is it? Actual cards from say the Star Trek 100 Battle Collection, we see Mega Meganium EX. This card is like, let's be honest, it's not super good. It's like kind of fun. It's not like the worst card ever or anything like that, but um, the attack is like it can do a bunch of damage. However, it gives up 3 prizes, and this is stage 2, right? So a lot of these are going to be multi-prizers and like evolutions and like megas and stuff. So keep that in mind in terms of balancing. Also, these are custom cards. I think their power level is going to be a little higher in general than regular cards. You want them to kind of be able to compete. Let's say you have a bit of a range. You want them to be somewhere between, like for example, Mega Feraligatr EX. Sorry, Mega Feraligatr fans, but this card's like quite bad. I ranked it, I think, as the lowest Mega of the most recent set, and so I'd say it should be at least as good as this. Again, if it's a Mega, and no better than say like Dragapult, right? Obviously, that's not a Mega, but Dragapult EX, a very powerful card. Maybe even a tiny bit stronger, right? It should be able to potentially even compete with those. So in terms of power levels, there is a wide variety of what's like fair. There's a big range. You can kind of try to make it a little more middling if you want to, but you don't have to. Anyways, let's hop into the first card here. As I mentioned, Mega Meowstic EX by Flint here. This is a obviously Mega here. It's a stage 1 and it has 310 HP on a Psychic. You play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon. In play, you may devolve your opponent's active Pokemon, active evolve Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card onto it into your opponent's hand. You can't use more than one suppression ability during your turn. Also, there are like some minor typos in some of these cards. I'm not going to talk about it, but just wanted to quickly mention it now. Also, you have Super Cybolt here for 1 Psychic. You do 140. And yeah, I mean, this card I feel like it's relatively straightforward. In terms of HP, it feels fine. I'm not going to go too much into the specific numbers on the cards, but certainly at a glance, it looks more than fine. I'd say Super Cybolt's a little underwhelming. You can kind of compare this to Mega Lucario EX, but this actually does a little more. It doesn't accelerate, but I feel like it feels fine. Then you look at the ability. This is obviously the most interesting aspect of this card, which is the ability suppression, allowing you to devolve one of your opponent's Pokemon. The fact that you can't use it more than once per turn, I think, is like fine. I don't think it's broken if you can use it more than once per turn. To be honest, I feel like it's more or less a non-factor most of the time. Obviously, devolving your opponent's Pokemon is kind of cool, allowing you to really target down Pokemon in one of 2 ways. You can devolve them before you've hit them, right? This is kind of the idea that you devolve them and then you like knock them out, or you can devolve them after you hit them and then knock them out, and that way and take potentially multiple prizes. You can also devolve them to slow them down. This is a little more situational, specifically because it is targeting their active as well. So, for example, if your opponent is playing a deck with like Pidgeot EX or some other support evolution Pokemon, specifically a support stage 2, because this can evolve a stage 2 all the way down to a basic if it wasn't rare candied. If it was rare candied, it will. Then they'll need to rare candy it again to get it back up, or like do something else, right? But it will be kind of difficult there versus like doing this to like a random stage 1, like a I almost said like a Dracolic, but that's a bad example. Like a I'll just say Goldengo EX. I mean, that does reduce the HP a lot. I'm trying to think of a good single prize stage 1 that doesn't evolve, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. I guess there's like Frostlass. Wait, that actually does do something. That's like the only Pokemon in the game that does something during your opponent's turn. Okay, this is actually bugging me. There's gotta be like a stage 1 that's played. There's Noctowl. That's such a terrible example as well. Okay, I guess comment down below if there is something. This is like bugging me so much. There's got to be a single prize stage 1 that you could evolve that doesn't evolve, that also doesn't have some weird interaction with like your opponent playing it or doing something in between turns. But I guess there's Toxtricity. That's not even play that much though. But anyways, yeah, if you hit one of those with devolution, this type of devolution ability, we see this in Team Devolution. There's a few different ways to devolve, but mostly Team Devolution. Then that doesn't do anything, right? You can pair this with Team Devolution to devolve twice, which is like kind of funny. Seems really niche, but kind of cool there. Also, specifically, this is a Psychic Pokemon here. It's an evolution. You can use Suspicious Timepiece to devolve this, to re-evolve it, which is kind of fun, especially with devolution stuff, going back and forth. Obviously, the attack of this Pokemon is pretty tame. I'm wondering if it's tame here. Oh, these cards are, I'm pretty sure, all made on PokeCardMaker.net, by the way. Which, by the way, if you want to make cards, I'm not like sponsoring anything, but that's like how I'd recommend it. There are some other websites that are also decent, but PokeCardMaker.net is quite good, and you can save cards. There was a time at which you couldn't, but you can do that. And that's, I actually have some if you're interested in seeing them, which I've showed off at various times. But yeah, I mean, Meowstic, the ability is fun. It's not like the craziest card ever. I think it's a more tame one, but it is a relatively cool thing. Devolving your opponent's Pokemon is just like a kind of fun thing to do. Messing with the evolution mechanic is just really, really cool. There is also another Meowstic in Standard. Wait, is there one or is there two? Okay, is it loading? Hopefully it's loading. Oh, also, I will say my internet is currently, well, okay, my power specifically is currently struggling, so hopefully I don't lose power. Though I suppose if you're seeing this, I didn't. But this is Meowstic. It can like Gust. It's a really weird card. You discard this item card to Gust. The item like discards energy on the first turn of the game. It's like super weird. Or first turn going second. It's a thing. It is a fun card. I wanted to mention it here. But then moving on to the next card. This is submitted here by Icicle. This is Mega Chandelure EX with another ability here. It's another Psychic evolution actually, so kind of funny there. But 360 HP Psychic Stage 2 here. Surprise Guest is your ability. Once on your turn, you may search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench face down. While it is face down, it cannot be damaged, evolve, use attacks or abilities, and all cards attached to it cannot be affected by opponent's cards. You may turn the card face up at any time during your turn or when it moves to the active spot. Wait, what? Okay. So this is okay. So during your opponent's turn, if it moves in during the act, like if they boss it, then it will get turned up. Okay, I'm wondering about this. I feel like so this is obviously kind of complicated. I will say this is the thing I forgot to say earlier. And didn't really apply to the first card, but I think custom cards being more complicated is really cool as well. This one is going to be a bit more complicated here. Obviously, messing with face down cards. This is something we don't see in the Pokemon TCG much. I don't know. Tell me down below in the comment section if there is a. I think there is a way that like puts face down cards into play, like a really old card. I know there are cards like, I mean, even like Time in Standard, which do have face down cards, but they're not in play. That's pretty different there. So again, tell me in the comment section if there is something like this, because there's a lot of weird old cards. I think there was maybe Lieutenant Surge's something, but I could be wrong. I'm completely off base with that one. But anyways, while it's face down, it can't be damaged, evolve, use attacks or abilities, and all cards attached. It can't be affected by your opponent's cards. I feel like the last line there, or the last section, the cards attached can't be affected by your opponent's cards, it's kind of interesting. I don't think it's like necessary. And obviously, you shouldn't really be able to attack, use abilities, because you can't see them. And not being able to be damaged is kind of fair. I'm trying to read this through again. Also, I guess I'll talk about Eternal Flame. 230 for 2 Psychic is like fine. I guess it's like kind of strong, to be honest. But it's not like actually that good, right? Let's be honest here. And the other thing here is the ability. I would not mind seeing the attack be a little worse. I'm trying to think of attacks. I mean, it's certainly not that good, but in terms of just like random ones, and no, it's probably pretty balanced, honestly, just to what Pokemon would make there. It is like honestly very usable as well. Not like super good, but usable. But anyways, you have the ability which puts the card face down. I don't think you have to turn it face up, if I'm not mistaken. You could turn it face up, but you don't have to, right? So, and like when it moves to the active, I think it should have to turn face up, right? Because it says, just like reading through this, you can search and you can put it face down, or you have to put it face down, and then, yeah, I think it should have to turn up in the active. Because like if your opponent gusts it, they just like can't hit it. It's like immune to damage, which is kind of makes sense because you can't see its HP, right? That's like the issue there. Um, and it's not immune to effects of abilities, so your opponent could actually put damage counters on it. I assume you'd probably make it immune to effects of abilities as well. But anyways, you could work out the details. It's a little weird, but specifically your opponent, like you could just get a bunch of face down Pokemon in play, and then your opponent can't damage you ever, and then that's it, right? That's like everything. Like you're not gonna do anything, they can't do anything. Um, Eventually one of you will deck out, or you'll just like die of old age or something. So yeah, that I think is like, unless I'm misreading this, which I could be. Again, this is kind of complicated, but anyways, working those details out is relative. I don't know if it's easy to do, but like conceptually, this is fun. Hiding things from your opponent. I believe that the when you flip it face up, it's the same card, so then you can evolve it later. So it allows you to kind of hide stuff. Obviously, like literally hide information from your opponent, but still do something, which is really fun. Which we do see in other card games. Some, I'm not sure how prevalent it is. I actually recently played a little bit of Riftbound, which, by the way, it's okay, but it's like super expensive. Like I'm someone who likes the proxy, but I like Pokemon cards are like somewhat affordable. In decks, they're certainly not crazy or anything like that. I mean, it kind of depends your budget, but then like other games, I play some Magic as well, which also has face down cards in it, and that's expensive. And then Riftbound is like a lot more. I mean, the best deck is a lot more expensive. It's like $600 or something. So, anyways, what I'm saying is that they use face down cards, and it's interesting. It's kind of complicated, but yeah, it's definitely something that I think fits really well with the custom card idea here. We have another card from also from my skull. We have I think 3 from my skull here. This is Ferrothorn EX with 280 HP on a stage 1. And it has a really interesting ability and attack here. Whip Smash, you flip coin for each energy attached to it. You do 40 for each heads. This is pretty tame. It's kind of bad, right? It's doing, which is not an issue, but it is kind of bad because it's doing 20 for each energy, right? Pretty much, which is not a lot of damage on average there. Even if it does 40 for each energy, it's still not that good. But then Steel Fragments is really interesting here. If this Pokemon has any metal energy attached to it, when it's knocked out, you put 15 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. This is really interesting, making it a bit of a Pokemon very similar to Dusknoir. It's presumably going to be an ability used on your opponent's turn, which is really interesting. With a bit more interaction on your opponent's turn, I don't think that's an issue. I mean, it can make things slower, but this isn't something that you're just like using at any point during your opponent's turn. I mean, it technically could happen at like any point, but your opponent is presumably initiating it there. So this is like really cool. It's a bunch of damage, but your opponent again is initiating it, so they can kind of plan around it. The attack here I also like being a grass Pokemon, but really needing metal energy, so it encourages you to honestly you'll probably play it with metal first. To be honest, one potential issue with this card is that you just use metal energy on it and not be able to attack with it. The reason being able to attack with it and do a little bit of damage is useful, as it allows you to progress the game in situations where opponents kind of adverse to attacking you. You could still get in stalemate situations, but I think it is a useful attack to have. And as I said, if you're not playing any grass energy, this is bad, right? Because it's not going to attack. So, I would probably increase the retreat cost. I'm not sure what. I guess I can look what Ferrothorn's retreat cost is. I feel like I think of it as a big Pokemon. Yeah, it's normally 3. This one has 2. And it's 2 or 3. That's actually not. That's like a very fair. Not that they have to be the same as everything else either, but that's a good place to start. But yeah, it can get out of the active as well, having like a 2 retreat cost. Like you can attach Air Balloon. I think it's a really interesting card. It is a lot of damage counters, but that is the thing it's doing. Really, the ability. It's very different than a lot of Pokemon we see where they have like these minor supporting abilities paired with these big damaging attacks. This is like you can do big damage. It is also kind of fun just doing coin flippy attacks. It fits with Ferrothorn, though I don't actually know if it's coin flip attacks are more fun and silly, especially like this. And then the ability is a more thoughtful, analytical attack. So in terms of the style of player looking to play this, I think it's a little all over the place. I mean, I do like this card though. I really do like this card. I think it's really fun. As a different design, not like crazy out there, but definitely a really cool one. Moving on to the last card by Icicle here. This is Turtonator EX. This is a basic here. The first basic. Wait, what was the first basic we're taking a look at today. And has 190 HP, which I think feels a little low, but it doesn't matter too much. Then you have the ability, or sorry, the attack, Fuel Tank for 1 colorless, allowing you to attach any number of basic fire energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. We've seen attacks like this before. They are kind of cool. And then you pair this with Steam Artillery for 5 here, doing 270, discarding 2 from it. This card is relatively simple and straightforward, probably the simplest of the ones we're talking about today. That being said, it is pretty cool, allowing you to accelerate a ton of energy, right? From your hand, it feels kind of like the Welder support, which we saw. Um, how long ago was it? Was it 6 years ago, something like that? I don't know. It was at the end of the Sun and Moon era. That number could be wrong, but I think it's something like that. And yeah, that splitter was probably one of the defining cards of Fire in the recently, right? Fire's been kind of bad for a while, unfortunately, but with Welder was amazing. And this is really fun, accelerating a ton of energy. I think these energy acceleration attacks are cool. We recently saw the Mega Audino EX card get revealed, which is out in Japan, I think. At the time of releasing it, it's definitely out in Japan. And yeah, these attacks are cool. Team Turbo Energized. These are fun. It's a little different, though, getting a ton of energy in your hand, encouraging you to play more cards like just different energy search cards, specifically Earth and Vessel there. But I do like this card. As I said, nothing crazy, but it is really fun here. Moving on to the next card. This is by Corey here. This is Primal Kyogre EX. This is like a Mega, but it's like Primal. And it has the ability here, Primordial C, which says that each basic water energy in play provides 2 water energies, and it doesn't stack. And then for 4 waters, which again is essentially 2, you do 280. And then if your opponent's active as a Mega, you do 40 more. This kind of fixes the math on some Megas. I feel like the Mega aspect is kind of cool. I think the attack, in terms of damage, might be a little strong. I'm trying to think this through. Also, the HP is a lot, but I mean, in terms of basic Megas, the ones we've seen, I feel like most of them aren't generally traditionally super big Pokemon, but I'd probably drop this to 300, but it doesn't matter. Realistically, being 300 versus 310, more just symbolically. But the attack here doing 280 for essentially 2. It could technically be 4 if you're using special energies, but that's absurd. So that would literally be 4 in combination of Prism and Legacy and Standard, if I'm not mistaken. Because you can't attach basic water, that would be, well, you can. You presumably want to, but if you're paying for it with 4, you're not attaching it, right? So yeah, it's going to be 4 here. It's going to be 2. Then you're going to be doing 280 for 2 on a basic, which is a bunch. And the ability is not going to get turned off. Theoretically, if the ability got turned off, that would also mess with it. But that's unlikely. I mean, there's Klefki in Standard, but I don't know. I mean, Klefki is more so a setup. It does something. It does something. So that is a situation there. I think there's something else I forget. Flutter Me as well. That's kind of similar to Klefki, but the ability is cool as well. But in terms of just with the attack, it allows you to do 30 for 2, which is a lot, or 320. I don't think the 40 extra damage. I mean, it can change things, right? But I'd probably reduce the original damage. Also, 320 is kind of a random number for Megas, to be honest. 320 is what you're looking at for nothing, right? So what you're looking at for Dragapult, right? In terms of Megas, I don't think it's anything. I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, the main Megas that see play, I mean, you see the basics and stuff like that, which 280 is going to be getting. It gets Mega Absol, but doesn't get Mega Kangaskhan. Those are the main tier seeing. So, I'd probably drop the damage down to, honestly, maybe even 180 and then make it do 100 more. Or maybe, no, make it 200, 220, something like that. And then 100 more for the Mega, making that more impactful there as a really key part of the card. Right now, it just feels like not an afterthought in terms of design-wise, but in terms of damage, it feels pretty underwhelming. Then the ability here, doubling water energy. This is obviously, it's the same thing we see in Chikorita. No, not Chikorita. Meganium in Standard, doubling energy, but that is a stage 2. This is a basic, but it is a 3 prizer. In terms of objective power level, I think it's kind of fair. Also, I was just quickly thinking about this with Chien-Pao. This doesn't work with Chien-Pao, right? Well, it could allow you to attach just one. Yeah, it doesn't work with Chien-Pao there, but well, okay, you could use them together, but you're not doing extra damage with Chien-Pao EX here. So this is theoretically very powerful. This isn't even on water Pokemon either. It's on any Pokemon. And so you could just use this. Actually, no, this is kind of crazy with Mega Kangaskhan EX. You could just Crispin a water and a not water. And then or even you could pair this with something like I almost said Iron Hands, that doesn't work, but like you can get a lot of energy on your board using this with lots of weird things, which are just like really powerful. This on a basic again is just like so powerful. And again, in terms of like balance, a stage two versus a single prize stage two versus a three prize basic, I feel like the power level is kind of similar there. Like that they it should be kind of similar. If you look at a card like Kangaskhan EX, that card's going to be that's gonna be stronger than like a good stage two, right? I'm trying to think like what are the good stages like Dusknoir, there's oh, I gotta look at decks again. No, I feel like there's nothing else obvious that's like a good stage two. And also is obviously weaker. There's Alexam, which is like fine. So yeah, honestly, like power level wise, this being stronger than the single prize stage two is like fine. But again, the fact that this is something you can use turn one, turn two, any turn easily, it's not like a particularly big liability. Why is the resistance minus 31 of fire? I just saw that. What? That's got to be a typo. But yeah, it's definitely a cool ability. I just don't know if it feels too good, unless I guess like basic water energy is really bad, which it seems like a meta thing. But realistically, isn't going to be possible. It's not like basic like if colorless energy is also bad, right? Because again, this works on non-water Pokemon. I might make it only work on water Pokemon or something. You can kind of design around it, but the idea is pretty fun here. It's not a crazy card in terms of like unique design. That being said, it is definitely interesting, and I do think it would be cool to see a Primal Kyogre as well. Moving on to the last card here, this is also from Core. This is Origin Form Giratina EX. This has the ability Entropy, which says once on your turn, if it's in the active, you may look at the bottom two cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand, and then you place the other on top of your deck. And this is another card. Wait, weren't these? I was gonna say these are from the same generation as Kyogre. That's not true. By the way, I don't play the video games. So, or like, I'm like a moderate fan of the Pokemon franchise outside of the TCG, where I'm obviously a very big fan. Yeah, definitely like hope to see some really cool legendary Pokemon as well, with some actual good cards, as opposed to like, I almost said Vesher and Zekrom EX. They're okay, but they're not that interesting. But this ability is really interesting here. Again, looking at the bottom two, one to your hand, the other on the top of your deck. And Phantom Force for Darkest Colorless, you do you knock your opponent's active out at the end of their turn. This is kind of cool. We've seen attacks like this before. I think being Darkness like kind of fits the attack. But in terms of Giratina's always been Psychic or Grass, right? I'm pretty sure. Specifically, it's like been like mostly Psychic. But we've seen some. Oh no, it's not always been Psychic or Grass. It's been Psychic, Grass, or Fighting. But it's not been Darkness. But I think it's fine enough here. It realistically doesn't matter too much. The attack is fine. It's kind of bad, to be honest. Like, they'll probably just retreat, especially like looking at the current standard metagame with like a lot of SEX and like a lot of decks. And I mean, if you're targeting some big three prizer with this, your opponent's going to retreat, right? Presume that they're going to retreat. It's not going to be that hard to retreat. It's like a definite, and then your attack doesn't do anything. On the other hand, if you hit a like small Pokemon, your opponent's just going to take it, and then yeah, you just like knocked out a single prizer with this like big attack on this two prizer. So it's not super good. There's not really a great middle ground if it's two prizer. They'll probably still retreat. So the ability though is really interesting. Look at this is a reverse Drake look, right? You look at the bottom two, put one in your hand, the other on the top of your deck. Specifically, this is really cool paired with something like Dracloak, where there's some top deck manipulation and bottom deck manipulation. In standard, you have cards like Iono and Does Exchange Ticket do that, or am I imagining that? I think I'm imagining that. What's it called? Redeemable Ticket. I got the name wrong because I was thinking of a translation. This okay. This does put them on the bottom of your deck, so like you can do some interesting things with the bottom of your deck. This ability is actually like I'm now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably a little too strong. I mean, it just draws one on a basic. It doesn't every turn though, and it also gives you choice. This should probably be on, to be honest, like a Mega, this ability. It is very strong. I'd also like to see more drive on Megas. It's not like absurdly strong, but you can also use more than one per turn, right? So you get like a bunch of these in play and just have this like powerful draw engine instantly. I think it would see a lot, like probably too much play. Also 240 HP like is high. I don't have an issue with it being 240 HP. in terms of like, Giratina being 240 HP as an EX, but it is still high here. With a good ability. Generally, you're going to see lower HP on good abilities. I mean, even look at Ferrothorn EX, which I always talk about having high HP with a good ability. It's not even that high. It's high for a good ability, but I do like this card, drawing you cards in a really unique manner. It also does put stuff on top of your deck. Where I was more so saying looking at the bottom is the synergy, but putting stuff on the top to be paired with Slowking, I guess. I don't know. That's the first one that came to my mind. There's not too many top deck synergies immediately that I'm thinking of, but it does put something on top of your deck that you then will draw next turn, or also next turn if you're Ionode. So you draw it next turn whether or not you're Ionode. You could get hit by Unfair Stamp, a Judge, or something, but for the most part, you're going to draw it. And so it has some really interesting back and forth. I really like this ability. Messing with the bottom of your deck. The one minor downside is physically kind of clunky to look at. But overall, I really like these cards. I really like the ones that people submit. And I really like seeing weird, wacky ideas as well. I feel like a lot of these people are playing it safer, but doing some weird stuff is really cool as well. But tell me down below in the comment section if you want to see more custom card stuff, more weird, wacky card stuff. But I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.